Hey everybody, this is Paige from Mosaic Moments, and today I'm doing a flip through of some of my favorite pages with the Explorer level dies. If you're not familiar with Explorer level dies, these are dies that are our most straightforward to use and they are the quickest to use. So Level 1 includes the basic die bundle, which all of my pages today use the basic dies, so that's the basic shapes. Like you see here, there's a lot of squares. It also includes our dies that are meant for embellishing. You can see the flowers and leaves on here, and our frame dies, our border dies. So most of our Explorer level dies are really meant to just embellish your pages, and many of them are very quick to use. You can make them as simple or as complex as you would like. So many of these you kind of have one cut and you're done. Some of them you may want to add more colors, or you can make them as simple or as advanced as you want. Advanced just meaning maybe you want to use more colors and things like that. So if you are not very familiar with our Explorer level dies, I will have an article in the description below, so you can look through that to help you understand what Explorer level is a little bit more. But today I'm going to be showing my favorite pages, and one of them is this one using the tropical flower and leaf die sets. I just love these dies. I think the dies make the page in this case. So what I love about it is there's some dies like the stem here. The stem is great because you can make it a different color. Now, I could have chosen to not use the stem and just have the flower there. We also have a die that fits in that middle section. But what I did is I just wanted to show the background. So right here, you can actually see the grid paper in the background in the middle here. And then I have the stem, and then these ones are on top of a photograph. I love this here. So this is actually the corner tile die. It's considered a level 2 or discover level die, but it's pretty easy. You could easily use it if you're even a beginner. So this was just a 1-inch square. The yellow is actually 1-inch square, and then the orange was cut with the corner tile die to get this look in the background, and then I laid the leaf over that. So that is one neat look you can go for. So Explore level or level 1 does not have to be boring. I think this page is very exciting, and I love all the colors going for it here. So a lot of our Explore level dies, you can add in as many colors as you would like, really. So again, I could have left it simple, didn't need to add all the different colors or the extra stem piece, but I wanted to make it a little more fun and decorative. All right, here is another die that I just love. We have, I guess it's a series or collection of Craftsman. We call this one Craftsman dies. And I used it on the zoo layout, and this is a pretty versatile die. It'll go with a lot of different subjects, which is partially why it's so great. In this case, I placed all the pieces over pattern paper, and then I actually filled in, so these triangles are usually open. So if you get just the frame piece that fits the grid, these are open as well, but I decided to keep those pieces closed. So I put the same color cardstock in those spaces just to give it a different look. I felt like it was a little bit busy. The pattern paper behind it looked a little bit too busy without it. So that's why I put them in. So that's a tip I'll share. If you feel like a pattern paper, which I really want to use this pattern paper, and if you're finding it looks slightly too busy behind your die, you can always fill a portion of it in. Now, I could have used a different color as well, but again, I was afraid it might still be distracting. So I think this looks really good. This page turned out to be really pretty. I think a big part of that is the colors. This is Persimmon Grid Paper, and it just all looks so good. I mean, really, with the Explorer level dies, if you pick the right color, it's going to be a standout page. And this is considered a basic layout. This is really easy dies to use, and it's stunning. Again, I think it's heavily because of the colors. All right, here's another one. This is one I did very recently, And this is, so the turtle and this die here are part of the Under the Sea die set, which is of course great if you go to the beach. It's great for an aquarium. So if you're someone who likes going to the beach a lot, this is a great set for you. There is one or two other dies in this set that I don't have on this page as well. It actually might just be one. It's a coral, so it's a 2x2 like this one, but it's of a coral, and it has a lot of little dots on it. It's a very cute die as well. And I wish I could have put that one on this page, but it didn't quite work. But what I love is this turtle. Look at the detail of this turtle. All the dies are designed by Tammy Potter, and she did a great job with this one. What I love here is I have a pattern paper in the background, and then I laid the turtle with the blue paper on top of that. I filled this ring section, the outer part of his shell here, with white cardstock. In the middle is this kind of orange pink color. So that turned out really good, and I love this turtle. You could have so much fun with this one, playing with different colors in each part. Like the head and his shell could all be different colors if you wanted to. I don't recommend getting carried away and making it all different colors, but you can have a lot of fun with this one. And same here. This one's more simple, but you can make each of these a different color if you want to. In this case, I have the pattern paper, the same one as up here, the blue cardstock, and I just filled one with the orange. I felt like it was looking too busy with two of them filled that way. So this is just a really fun one. I liked how this page turned out with these. All right, here's one. This one is called Beaumont, and this one's a little bit underrated. And what I love about Beaumont is you can make them stackable and change up the colors. So I'm going to see I hope I don't ruin anything. I have the glue here. So the 2x2 is one big piece. And then the Beaumont dies, one of the sets comes with extra pieces. So I'm able to make these little sections different colors. Plus it comes with a layering size. So I was able to add these little photos on top of it. And I think it looks so good. If you wanted to, you could fill all these different spots with different colors. So this is one you can have a lot of fun with, in my opinion. And I think it looks really good. This is from a garden. It can really go with masculine or feminine pages if you would like. But this is what I like about this one is you can fill it and decorate it in many different ways. This is a very versatile die design. All right, this one is Wave Border. There's two different wave dies that come in the set. And what I did here, if you notice, I have the same pattern paper going down in these sections and then the same pattern paper here. So it looks like it's going into the next spot. And I think that's what's so neat. I did have to trim down the Wave Border die. It's actually 1x6, but you can easily trim it down to any size you want. I maybe don't recommend 1x1 as much. I don't know how that would look with a 1x1 die, but I like cropping it down for 1x5 or 1x4 section. And I just wanted to show this trick. This is something you might easily miss if you weren't looking for it. But you can have the same pattern paper go through. So this is a 3x5 and then a 1x5. And then I just cut this part with the wave border and placed it over this pattern paper. And I think it's a really neat design. So again, Explorer level does not have to be boring. I mean, this is a pretty cool technique here and it's really, really easy to do. All right, here's another tip I would like to share is you can always fill in depending on the Explorer level die, of course. Some of them you're able to basically punch out of the part of the die that fits on the grid paper. So this is the arrow die. It fits a 2x3 space on the grid, but I just used the arrow part and added journaling on it. And this die right here is our banner die, which the banner dies fit the grid. So this was not one that was punched out from the frame part or something. This is just the die that can lay on the grid lines. And I just want to show some of these dies you're able to use on your layout and other spots outside of, the grid lines, which some of you may like that because it makes your page feel a little more dynamic and fun. versus having everything all and aligned perfectly. You know, sometimes you want to add something a little more asymmetrical to your layout. But I also wanted to show you this because some of the dies work well for adding journaling as well. All right, I just wanted to show this one. This one is from our Beachcombers die set. This shell's in there and this sea star's in there. I believe this one's a 1x3 die in that set, and there's another one that looks like another kind of shell. But what I love is I have this wood grain grid paper. This is bleached wood from our dockside, our dockside collection. And you can get away with it sometimes, but not every time. So I'm not going to guarantee this for every die. But you see how I have the grain showing up in the background of this die? And I love that. I love showing more of these papers for one thing. And I think it looks really good on this design with the shell. Sometimes you can't do this because a grid line will be in the way, but this one worked out perfectly, so you can't see the grid line. But I love it. If you want to show more, especially if you have these papers like the wood grain here and you want to show more of that paper, you can leave some spots, or even in some cases maybe even all the spots, although that's not very likely. You can leave all the spots empty, but some of the Explorer level dies allow you to have some spaces where you can show that grid paper. All right, for this next layout, I wanted to show you a tip. So right here, this is one of our film strip dies. We have several sizes, and the film strip dies are super fun. Obviously, it was great for this universal layout, but for this one here, I wanted to show you the original die. It's actually 1x3 die, and obviously I wasn't going to fit that in there. And I really wanted to use it because I felt like when I just had the blue paper here, it looked very bland. So I just cut this with white paper and then just took the individual arrow parts and put it on a 1x2 size. So that is an option. Not all of our Explorer level dies are going to be like this, but some of them you're able to take the little pieces out and then you can stick them. So in this case, it's a 1x3 die, but that wasn't going to work, so I took some of the arrows out and put it on a 1x2. So that may be something to think about. Even if it was a larger space, I could have just cut more arrows. So that is something to think about with Explorer level. If you're finding a space on your page is looking really bland and you don't really have a die that'll fit there, this is something to consider. This is one of my favorite Explorer level die pages, and it's really simple. I mean, it really is. I mean, most of it is photos on the top and bottom, and sometimes simple is the way to go. You don't have to do anything extravagant to your pages to make them look good. But what I love about this layout is this paper border here. It's really easy. This was cut, these two sides were cut with the 2x4 basic die. And then I used the same paper to cut with the 4x6 oval frame. And it looks so good. And obviously I have this red paper here, so it helps this photo stand out more. It's definitely the focal point. Plus, okay, so when I did this, I put the pattern paper down first, and I thought it needed a little something more. And so I used these snowflakes. This is from our Mr. Snow and Flakes die set. And you can see I was able to use the snowflakes a little bit more loosely, and I was able to make it look like, oh, it's snowing above the page, you know? So this one's I love this one. It's really easy, like I said. It's really easy to do. You just have to take the same pattern paper and cut 3 different shapes with it, basically, and then it looks like this nice, beautiful border, and then I added the snowflakes to add interest, and you can kind of play and put them in different spots. So it's just a fun one to be creative with. And this right here is just 2 of the snowflakes stacked on top of each other with, it looks like I put a sticker, a glittery sticker in the middle here. So this is just a fun technique. Again, I'm not sure how many people noticed this if they were just looking at the layout, but I wanted to tell you guys about this one because this is a great technique. All right. Have more ideas here. So this has one of our flower dies, and you can see here I left out the middle section, and then I put all these middle sections over here and around here. You don't have to actually waste all that paper. I mean, a lot of times I would throw the flower out because usually you're going to fill the space with another color to help it stand out from the border, right? So here I kept it easy. It just has an ivory background, and I added some stickles to make the center here. But then all these centers were used as little extra embellishments on the layout, and I also added little stickers in the middle here. So this is just one idea I wanted to show you about using those pieces that you would otherwise throw away. So, and this isn't one idea you can do is if you don't have enough journaling to fill a whole block, you can always add a little embellishment at the bottom to fill in the rest of the space. So that is a really handy tip because I didn't necessarily have a whole lot to say about the situation, but the flowers were the perfect solution to fill in that space. All right, this is the Alderaan dyes. They were, if you recognize the name Alderaan, it is from Star Wars. Of course, you don't have to use this dye for a Star Wars layout, but we took the opportunity, of course. So this is us at Disney World, and I just wanted to show this fun technique I did with these dyes. This is chalk ink. I got, it looks like I used a bronze color for the brown, and I don't remember what color I used. It was another metallic-y one. This is like, I think this paper is like some kind of pumpkin or gold. And on its own, the paper didn't really go with Star Wars, but you add some chalk ink on it, and all of a sudden it goes. And then I have this, it's actually gray, and it has a little bit of this bluish grayish chalk ink on it. So I love using chalk ink. It's not everyone's thing, but I have it all around this layout because it's Star Wars. Star Wars is supposed to be like kind of rustic and old feeling, used feeling, you know, so I wanted my dyes to feel used as well. So that's why I got the chalk ink. It's great for distressing. And so I think these Alderaan dyes really pop. Again, you don't have to go with the chalk ink. You could just use different colors of paper, or even just have one solid piece in the background and lay the frame on top of it. It can be as simple as you want it to be if you need something quick, but I really enjoy playing around with chalk ink. So I just wanted to show this idea. If you want to give your page a little extra something, or if you're feeling like it's too boring, chalk ink is an awesome solution to give it a little more pop. This is a neat one. Actually, these next few are kind of, they're explore level dyes, but they kind of can look like adventure levels. So that's why I'm showing the rest of these. This one here is called Whale of a Tail. It's 1x4 die. It's great to put next to a focal point photo. Like if you had, I have a 4x6 here. It could also work with a 4x4 or 4x5, and it makes this awesome little accent next to your focal point. And look how neat that looks. The trick here is to use the same color. So you see I have the same color here for the 4x6 photo here. And I use that same color for the whale of a tail for the outline part. So that gives it this unified look. It almost looks like one big piece here. And then what else is really neat about it is you can fill it with two different other colors. So it's this, in this case, I had two colors that give it this two-toned look because it's basically a darker green and a lighter green, and it goes so well. It looks so good. This is great if you have some pattern paper, like if you have a pack of pattern paper where it all coordinates together. I recommend using two coordinating pattern papers for this look. So this is a really neat one. Whale of a Tail to me is also another underrated die, but it makes such great pages. It's an awesome one, and I love the little border it makes next to the basic die, and it doesn't make it look very basic anymore. This is one of our other most used dyes. This one's called Trellis. Now there's 3 different Trellis dyes. There's this one. There's another Trellis 2x4 Trellis die that's filled in more in the middle. and that one's great as more of an embellishment. And there's also a 2x2 trellis die. The trellis dies can look like adventure level, basically. They can look really good. Again, can be very simple, but also, even though it's simple to use, it can look like one of the higher level pages. So this one here I love because I filled in these sections with the same lily floral dies, and it just looks so good. I just love the trellis dies because, like I said, it is an Explorer level, but it looks so much more advanced. Even though it's pretty easy, this 2x4 option is nice because it basically makes a nice frame for your photos. And I really wanted my page to look very balanced. So obviously in the middle here, I have 2 photos. This is my sister, a little more close up. And then these ones, they're all going vertical, and she's in the same distance away from the camera in all of these other photos. And it's a very balanced looking page, but those trellis dies really make it pop. It really looks excellent with those dies. So if you're doing Explorer level and you want something that looks a little fancy and a little more, advanced for maybe for you as a beginner, I always say go with the trellis dies. They're great. All right, so this is the last layout of today's video. This is the Earnest die set. It does come with this 2x4 die, and then it also comes with these circle dies. So you can actually fill this in. You could put all these dies in a row and then fill in the circle spaces differently. So Tammy used it in a way that was pretty simple. It's the 2x4 die in each section, and then she just has one photo that fills in each section, and then this orange paper. So this is a pretty easy way to use Earnest die, and I recommend this kind of layout if you're using it for the very first time. But it also has little circle shapes, like I said, and you can make a border with different circles. So the Earnest die is a really neat one. And again, it's one of those ones where it can look like adventure level. All right, I hope you all enjoyed this flip through, and if you have not given the Explorer level dies a chance yet, I hope this inspired you to do that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.